Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with you today. I hope everybody's having an awesome day. Hey, Big Mama Sandy Moore is here, Michelle, Barbara, Philippa. Love seeing my regular folks that come all the time. Hello to any lurkers hanging out back there. Phyllis, I'm looking at you. Sandy says it's a beautiful day in Kansas. We have blue skies at the moment, but literally like 15 minutes ago, it was hailing and pouring. It was crazy. We have had so much rain and wind and hail, and there's snow up on the summit. So people are driving like insane, and I'm so glad we don't have to go over the summit today because, yeah, people forget how to drive in the rain. And when they see snow, it's like, ooh, pretty snow. Here I am going off two cars have already gone off the mountain today. Two, not one, but two. And I can't even count how many wrecks. We can hear the sirens from here. And yeah, so other than going to the gym later today, this is it for me. And I think I have everything working. Hopefully you hear me okay, because the painters had to come back again to redo the windowsills because something weird happened with the nails, and the paint shrunk away from the nails that held the windowsills down, and it was horrible. So after we had everything put back against the walls, we had to take it all away again so they could come in yesterday, and they were here yesterday. And fingers crossed, in the living room and in the studio, we do not have to have them come back again. They have to come install some cabinet doors in my husband's office, but that won't affect me. Yay. And since it's raining and going to keep raining, and then things are going to be wet, it's probably going to be at least another month before they come to paint the outside. But I don't care about that right now because I've spent, let's see, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, maybe. I don't know. I've spent some time getting the studio back in order again so that I can spread everything out for the new commission. And now it feels safe that I can put all those beautiful yarns she sent me out on the island and really dig into things. Sound is good. Thank you, Michelle. Hey, Sue, glad you could be here today. Let me switch the cameras around. Yeah, because of course that also had to get all taken down, and I have no idea the lighting, my normal tricks to keep the backlighting better with all the light coming in from my windows isn't working, and I did not want to deal with the screen today. So you know what? I'm just rolling with it. So today I'm making some of these little balls. These are perfect matches for the colors that I'm going to be using. And I don't have, this is literally, these are the only ones I have left in these colors. So it's a good time for me to make some more, and I don't have to think too much about what's going on with it. And I've got a knot there in that thread. And I'm just gonna roll with the day. The nice thing about making these guys is there's no rhyme or reason. They all end up in the same kind of general size. And oh, it's interesting. My picture of me just flipped itself to the other side of the screen, and I didn't do anything. Technology is weird. Hey, Sandy, how are you doing today? Sandy and Sandy. So I start these guys by just cutting literally some rounded squares. I could cut them all into nice little circles. That's what I used to do, but I discovered that really I didn't need to do that because it all gets gathered up and just helps kind of, tuck things in. Let's see. So what is going on in everybody else's corners of the world? Ooh, that's going to be a big one. So maybe what we'll do here, let's see. Well, we're just going to cut it in half and we'll see what happens. I have no idea how many I'm going to need, of course, because we're just getting started on this, but these are obviously colors that I use all the time. So no big deal to have excess. Let's see. This is about this size. Yeah. It's been really nice though to get the studio back in order again. And since they, closed up some of the closed up the niche walls that I had in there and then extended another wall. Now I'm looking at my art and trying to decide what I might want to hang in there because I have not had room to hang my art in my own space. And it's a little, feels a little, I guess arrogant is the word at the moment, oh, I don't want to look at, my stuff. I mean, it's not good enough to look at it. Well, if it's not good enough for me to look at, why should I think it's good enough for somebody to buy? So I need to get over myself, right? Get over myself. Sue said, I've started reverse quilting a treasured quilt I collected over 30 years ago. What is reverse quilting? I don't know what that is. Tell me more. Oh my goodness, I just suddenly heard Sandy from Greece. Tell me more. Or it wasn't Sandy, it was the whole, the girls that hung around with her. Tell me more, tell me more. I don't know why that popped in. Ah, I love it. Care packages going back and forth. Yeah, I'm putting a few together myself as I clean things out. It's hard to get rid of some stuff though, because you remember the plans you had for them, or at least I do. And then it's like, oh man, but I was really going to do this thing and it was going to be awesome. Just give me a couple little ones. Sometimes little ones are good to have. All right. It's not like I'm going to get them all done. Barbara said, just put your absolute favorites on your walls, the pieces that make you smile the most. Yeah. And what's hard is I don't have a lot of big pieces. I mean, Gaia is what you see when you first walk in the door of the house. So that's my biggest one right now. And of course, the commission is going to be big, but it doesn't get to stay here. The white piece that I'm working on is almost, but not quite done. So I have a spot plan for that. So I'm taking my small 4-inch ones and I'm going to hang them on a ribbon. I'm going to hang, I think 5, maybe 7 on a ribbon. I've got a real narrow wall for those. And yeah, I'm just kind of auditioning things, doing it on the computer to see what I look like on the wall. Hey, Joanne. And some of the ones, like I posted a short the other day that some of you guys might have seen about Still Wild and how, I didn't like it when I finished it because I'd made some horrible mistakes and I needed to have it framed. I paid, a lot of money to have it framed because it helped hide the things that I did wrong and that I couldn't fix myself. And it was sort of like, oh man, I don't feel good looking at this. But, it's been up since Open Studios. And oddly enough, I feel much better about it now. So sometimes we need to have that time to come to terms, I guess, with our stuffs, maybe, or maybe it's just me. Sue said, I suspect the quilt was made by an African-American maker. The batting is raw cotton. Oh, wow. Very cool. So yeah, what is reverse quilting? Barbara also wants to know. One of the things I was doing was I had like this huge basket in the studio and I've been changing over, I have the clear bins that I have on my shelves for all the yarns I use all the time. And the overflow was just kind of like willy-nilly everywhere. So I ordered some larger bins so that I could protect them from dust and dog hair and spiders. And so I've been sorting out my scraps. And I remembered there were 2 things I wanted to do, one all in green and one all in white. So now I've got a nice collection of scraps and I might just start either just stitching on the scraps and then piecing them together or piecing together the scraps and then stitching on it. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go, but it was nice to remember that I had a plan for that kind of thing. And, although I know my focus is going to be primarily on the commission this year, it's good that I still have other ideas percolating, because sometimes they got to percolate for a while. Sue said, I saved it and gently used it, but the fabric is gone in places. I thought about trying to repair it, but decided in the end to just take it apart. So I'm taking out the quilting. Wow. I wish in retrospect that I had done that with the log cabin quilt that I have from my great grandmother. It was completely threadbare, and I gave it to a friend, and she suggested just doing it on her long arm, putting a new backing on it and new batting, and then quilting it on her long arm, which is great because the front now it has preserved that. But I wasn't doing any sewing back then. I was strictly writing. And my quilter friend, I took her, I mean, she's a famous quilter, so I took her advice, and she very nicely quilted it for me on her long arm, and it at least is preserved. Sue said, it's only a personal size quilt, not a bed quilt. It's giving me something to do when my brain isn't up to any other activity. That's so important to have. This is one of those things that I can do when my brain isn't up to anything else. And because of dealing with all the Windows stuff, that's kind of what I feel like, is that I just was not up to trying to, I just couldn't. And also I know that the studio's got to be put back together again, because I need to not, a lot of stuff I'm not going to probably look at for the rest of the year. And I need to be okay with that. And the only way I can be okay with that is if everything has a home and I don't have junky piles just hanging around. And then I'm still thinking, well, but Open Studios will be coming up, in October. And I'm anticipating that I'm going to get into it. This one I did not cut right. So let's see. Is there any other way I can do it? I don't think so. Yeah, too big. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. We will just cut. This is one I'll go ahead and cut into circles because I have the room. Quilting is good for that. So is unquilting. Yeah. And I actually was taking out a bunch of crochet last night. That was another good thing to do while just watching TV and not having to think. But this, like, trying to find new ways to store stuff that I use occasionally has been a bit of a challenge, because the studio is not big. Sandy said, after I finish this little golden book journal, I'm going to be getting everything ready in the house for the ladies that are coming in April together to craft together. So far I have 25. Wow. I'm going to move my living room into my dining room and then use my living room space for all the crafters to craft. There'll be lots of floor space upstairs that has bodies sleeping. That's amazing. Well, I promise your box will get to you before the ladies do. I actually went looking for a box today. And I have gardener's fingers. I have been scrubbing, but I still have dirt underneath my cuticles that have not been able to dig out. Because, Tally doesn't care that it's raining. She still wants to go out and run around and dig in the dirt and stuff. So I go out, and then I can't resist. I'm messing with something, and I think my fingers are just going to be stained. Giant sleepover at Sandy's house. Yeah, I am too, Barbara. It's impressive to think about having that many people come over. I make it only 1 week this time. Good. All right, so this is, see, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is a weird shape, but it doesn't matter, because these things never end up just sitting solitarily. Sometimes I'll group them together, and then there's always grasses or something coming up, and it is what it is. I just do this little knot like that at the top, because sometimes I pull too aggressively when I gather things, and then the knots come through. So literally just a very basic basting stitch that's more or less circular, an oval, something roundish edges. Well, I admire you, Sandy, for even doing that for a week. That's just that's intense. I mean, I'm already thinking about, oh my goodness, open studios and all those people and all that peopling. Although I was telling my husband the other day, I think Tally will be able to be free this year. We won't have to keep her, and we'll keep one gate when you first come into the house just so she doesn't slip out the door. But she's gotten so good with greeting everybody and keeping all 4 feet on the ground that I think she'll be able to wander around and see people, which will make it a whole lot easier for her too. Michelle thinks it sounds like fun. Barbara said it's impressive, daunting to think of 25 people coming over for a couple of hours, much less overnight and in the kitchen. Sue said, I'm with you, Barbara. I don't think 25 people would even fit in my house. Yeah, I think we're going to do an open house in the spring when the house is painted, or maybe it'll be summer. Who knows when it'll be painted. And I'll be glad. You have to do it in the nice weather because, we can handle the people outside, but definitely not in the house. First, I tried to be a hostess. Now I just get out of the way. Well, that's good because you do all the prep work, getting ready, getting all the supplies that you're going to share. And then I know you do some big cooking. And then, yeah, let them have their fun. I got all my twinkle lights set up in the studio. That was like one of the big things. It's like, okay, it shouldn't take that long, but it did. And they just make me happy. Even though I'm not working in there at night, they make me happy to have them on during the day. Sue wants to know, will you get any crafting done, Sandy? So see, I've got little stuff that hangs over because I don't have a perfect circle. It doesn't matter. I'll stitch it closed, and then when it gets stitched into the project, you're not going to see any of that. Wow, now we have beautiful blue skies. I can't believe it. A half hour ago, it was hailing. Unreal. Okay, could have used a little bit more fluff there, but that doesn't matter. And see, it's not going to necessarily be perfectly straight, perfectly round. And that's okay too, because again, Mother Nature doesn't keep everything perfectly dimensional, and there'll be other stuff around it. These are just like little tuck-in pops of color. Sue said, I have some quilting to do on the cover of my current textile book. Wish I enjoyed that process more. Yeah, there's always some part of things that we're just not that crazy about. When it was books that I was making, I hated sewing in the signatures. That was my least favorite thing. Hi, Mari or Mario. Please tell me how you want us to refer to you. She says, hi from the Netherlands. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here, Mari. Is it Mari or Mario? Yeah, please let us know. Oh, Marion. Okay, Marion, welcome. Are you a stitcher? Are there other kind of crafts you like to do? Or you like a lot of us here and you like to do a little bit of everything? Michelle said, have you started your commission piece yet? Well, the painters just left yesterday, so I did not want to pull out any of those beautiful yarns from France while they were here. But these little balls are part of the commission piece. So that is definitely a beginning for me. And I've been making lists of what, like I know what yarns, if I'm just like saying broadly, the deep blue teals, the dark greens, the medium greens, the light greens, the yellows. And I've kind of been making notes about what stitches I think I want to experiment with each one. Marion says almost anything except for crochet. Yeah, I think a lot of us here really just like to play it well. I don't do as much playing around with other things now as I used to. So I'm thinking there will be a lot of long bullions made out of the beautiful, shoot. My brain is like, boom, the beautiful fuzzy yarn that she sent, and my brain is just like not there. Cashmere and that other stuff. Marion said, I usually knit with five DPNs. Mohair. Thank you, Barbara. One crochet hook scares me. I can only do 2 stitches with crochet, but that's enough for what I need to use it for. Yeah, so she sent me this beautiful mohair, and I know that I can't easily, I mean, I could do French knots with it, but it would be a real pain. So I've been playing around with some other ideas on how I want to use them, and they're definitely going to make some beautiful long bullions, which then I think I can, I don't have anything here. Yeah, the big piece. I can twist into, well, actually I can show you with the big white piece, just a sec. So when I'm thinking about textures, see if I can find some of these. Like right here, these are long bullions. And so I'm thinking if I'm doing that with the dark blues, this will be really good. And then I'm thinking the vines can be in all kinds of colors because that'll be easy to do. A lot of the puffy stuff I'm probably going to do in the yellows, I think. And again, this is just kind of, I've got to start, I've got to start sampling things. Let's see. Marion said, I saw the yarn from France and I was drooling. I know, I'm so lucky. It's absolutely beautiful yarn. Marion said 5 at once. Yes, for socks or gloves. Wow. Sue said, I guess socks, gloves too. Wow. Oh, not a. Sandy said, I can crochet an amoeba, but not on purpose. Oh, double pointed needles. Thank you for that explanation, Barbara. Barbara said, yes, Marion, I use 5 DPNs for socks. Well, 4 actually, double pointed needles. I'm using a long size 8 round needle now for my front placket of my sweater. Oh, wow. Thank you, Joanne. I always think of you when I'm working on the big white piece. Marion said, I once crocheted a goldfish with the help of YouTube. I crocheted a baby blanket 40 plus years ago, and it was very intricate. And, it was with one of those Butterick or something Simplicity patterns that I got. And I still can't believe it was like granny squares, and each granny square was a different stitch, and it was very delicate. And I still have it, and I look at it and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that, because now I can single crochet. Okay, I can chain stitch, single crochet, and double crochet. That's it. But I can't follow directions at all. Sandy said, I could crochet a goldfish. It would have to be a circle to start with, but definitely a goldfish by the time I started. Oh, and I do crochet these little, they're actually crocheted buttons, but it's just a single crochet around and around and around until you get this little puff, and it gives me another kind of my little balls. So I do like that. I keep looking at different things with crochet because I think, it could add some interesting textures to my wildscapes. But this was going to be the year that I experimented more. But obviously with the commission, I am not going to be able to have as much time to do that because I still want to get some commercial things done for Open Studios. Marion said, I prefer knitting. I even prefer knitting English patterns and instructions because the Dutch ones confuse me, even though Dutch is my native language. I wonder if it's because they originate in English, and then some of that stuff, when it gets translated, is not anything close to what it's supposed to be. Marion said, patterns excludes my type. Typos, I have a cat on my lap. Oh, we like our fur babies here. Sandy said, I have done a single crochet round a button, even did a tutorial on that. Yeah, and yours is different than the one I do. It's a cute little button. I was watching somebody, probably Fig and somebody, just some embroidery videos that were just playing on in the background. I wasn't really watching to watch. And I'm like, I just do not have the patience to be as perfect as some of these beautiful, I mean, just absolutely gorgeous embroidery artists. This was going to be the year, though, that I dove into more stump work and punch needle. Probably will do more punch needle, but not as much stump work because, again, time. And I have no idea. I mean, I'm hoping that I learned enough from working on Gaia that it won't take me 9 months to do this big piece. October 1st is my deadline. I definitely want to have it shipped before we get into all the holiday craziness and bad weather and all that kind of stuff, because it'll have to ship to New York. Let's see, I'm going, okay, this way, there we go. Sue said, I think I saw that video, might have to go have another look. The one thing I would like to do that I think I could do more easily with crochet, I mean, I can do it with some stitch, is like little cups, like a little tiny bowl, because that could be interesting then to stitch down and then fill with beads or shells. Marion said, I started cross stitching many moons ago. Recently started to learn embroidery, stump work, and slow stitching. Oh, so you are a multi-talented, addicted to crafting person like so many of us here. You are in with your people. Also learning sashiko and boro. So it sounds like you have the patience for the meticulous work. I did cross stitch many years ago. I still have a sampler that I did. I realized that with the speed of the stuff that I enjoy doing, I'm okay with now doing less types of creative work. Hey, Lisbeth. I was thinking of you the other day and thinking we need to have a coffee date or something soon. She says she's popping in from work. Hope all is well. It is. The house is coming together. Beth lives very close to me here, so we were able to get together in person. We definitely need a catch-up date because we haven't had one in a while. Wow, and Marion also does mixed media and making books and such. Oh, you would probably like Sandy's Big Mama's YouTube channel. She's making a lot of journals. Beautiful journals. Sandy says jelly. I know. And you know what else is Beth is a big thrifter, and sometimes she comes over and she brings me some fabulous fibers that she's found. I was playing with the most recent, that white fiber you brought me last night. Ooh, it's nice. Makes really neat vines. Barbara said, Marion, I want to learn sashiko. I love the look of it. Marion said, so do I. I'm watching YouTube. Yeah, isn't YouTube great for us all to expand our ideas of what we can do with creative efforts? And it's funny, as much as I love, I'm all backwards. I love these little guys. I'm not crazy anymore about doing yo-yos. And I used to be, but not anymore. All right, let's find one of the teeny ones. No, I had a little one somewhere. I thought I had a little one somewhere. Barbara, thank you for asking. Barbara wants to know, Marion, do you have a YouTube channel? I will go look for Sandy's. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, that big spool of white. It's beautiful. It's also really good to use around the very fine mohairs and just any kind of real fine fuzzy yarns to do some other stuff. I swear there was a teeny tiny green. There we go. I knew there was a, I only wanted teeny tiny because I don't have a lot of yarn left. Thank you for sharing channels, Barbara. Beth says, Marion, it sounds like you are super creative. How fun. Marion said, oh, that's how I found you, Susan, looking up some stitches to learn for structure and found your 5 favorite stitches. Ah, thank you. Whoops. Also helps if you put a knot in the threads. Marion said, I have one, not much on it. I'm camera shy. I think a lot of us are when we get started. Also depends on what you're doing YouTube for. You know, if you're just sharing your love of your craft with everybody else around you, you know, everybody's in the same boat. Oh, Beth, you will love Sandy's channel. She is just so full of love and laughter. In fact, you can't really watch her channel without laughing. And her journals are just so full of so much yummy goodness. How many days a week are you working now, Beth? Are you down to 4 yet? Beth is approaching retirement. Isn't that exciting? Because then she'll have all this time to craft and spend time with her grandbaby. Ah, thank you, Barbara. Barbara just posted my 5 favorite stitches video. It is it's a good one. It's pop. Plus, there's Tally. We have not gotten Beth to have a channel yet. She's very good at supporting all of us on ours. Philippa said, hey, Sandy, the Graphics Fairy has put up a collection of vintage swallows for free that you might like for journals. Ooh. Marion said, I subscribe, Sandy. I will have a look in the morning. It's 9:30 p.m. right now. Here I am giving free gray hairs along with my stuff. Now the clouds are coming back in over here. Wow. Beth, are you working from home or did you have to drive over the hill? Because wow, that commute would have to be killer this week. Sandy says, Elizabeth, I'll just pretend like I watched you. Yes, there you go. Why am I having trouble? I'm going to have to play around with my camera stuff. It's disconcerting because it says I'm over here, but I'm over there. Beth said I'm working 3/4 time until tax audits are done. Then I'm hoping for half time so I can travel and craft more. Yeah, and Philippa says it's 9:30 a.m. there in New Zealand on Thursday for her. Do you have your next trip planned, Beth? Yeah, taxes. That's what I got to work on this weekend. It's going to be icky this year. Very, very icky. Yeah, Wednesday evening for Marion. Nope, I had more thread on there than I thought. Nap time for Sandy. That'll be workout time for me next. Did I finish? Ah, I did not finish my chai. I tell you what, that's a good cup of chai. Let's rethread this needle. Anytime is nap time for Sandy. Yeah. Beth said, oh, good. I'm working from home today. It's actually snowed on the summit. Yeah, I saw that snow on our summit. And every 10 years or so, but no one seems to be able to manage it. I know, it's crazy. They're just idiots. I saw 2 cars went over. I'm glad you're working from home today. So nice to have all this rain and not worry about any leaky roofs. Because, boy, that was the whole reason we started this big project almost a year ago, was the roof was leaking. I don't want to do taxes. This year is going to be really rough, and next year is really going to be rough. It'll take us a couple years to recover. But luckily, we don't plan on ever moving, so everything we're putting into this house is worth it. And we love the way it's all coming together. Now, if the bunnies and the birds would just let the seeds stay and come up and then not eat all the seedlings, it'd be really nice in the yard. Sandy said, when I was doing a Brave Shield operation in the Mojave Desert, we loaded up a deuce and a half and went to Palm Springs. I had no idea there would be snow on top. Oh, wow. That was quite an education for me. Yeah, people don't realize that about the Palm Spring area. There's just geography. It's interesting. Yes, Beth, Marion is in the Netherlands. Yeah, I saw there was also snow on Mount Diablo, which is the mountain range over where I grew up. I can remember it snowing in high school. We all got let out of class to go outside and see it because it was such a phenomenon. Hey, Terry, she said, John showed me some pictures of California snow-covered mountains. Yeah, up in the Tahoe area, I mean, it's bad. Avalanche, some skiers that were killed, some that had to be rescued and that were able to be rescued. How's that new kitty doing, Terry? Miss Holly on your lap? Is Lisbeth Deegan in the Netherlands? I can't remember where she is. Seems like she is. Oh, wow. Beth said I'm going to Portugal in the fall with the art group. Wow. Yeah, Elizabeth found this great art group where they go to these different countries and do art classes and then get to see all the artsy places and shop for artsy things. She did one in Paris and then you went to Italy too, right? Marion said, nice, decent weather then, not too hot. Ugh. Terry, oh my. She said, sorry, I'm late. I was working on deposition corrections, deeply absorbed. That's ick. Hopefully it all coming together. And how is Dylan, your dog, doing with Holly, your new cat? Have they been introduced yet? Joanne, are you still working on your picture frames? They have really been something that you have taken to and do very, very well. Doctor's appointment this week. So yeah, hard to work then when you've got a bunch of that stuff going on. Beth said, art travel is with the Blue Walk. Great art trips. Save your pennies. Sandy said, hello to all the secret squirrels. Yes, thank you for that. We like our secret squirrels. Holly hasn't quite accepted him. She doesn't know what a dog is. Poor Dylan, lots of hissing. Oh, poor thing. Yeah, I was explaining to somebody the other day how when I got my cat, and I got my dog after I already had the cat. It was the first cat I'd ever had, and I never thought about introducing them. I just kind of left them alone, and the dog was still recovering from anesthesia. And surprisingly, and luckily on my part, they hit it off just fine, because I was not good. Michelle said, I'm still organizing supplies. That's important. Marion said, are those little pillows you're making now for under the green yarns from France? Yeah, so what I'll do is, let's see. I don't know if they show as well on here. Wait a minute, let me grab one. It's easier to show you guys. Just a sec. So all of my art is made from components. So here's a little ball, and then by the time I get all the other pieces around it, it's just kind of tucked in. It's just a little thought. This one kind of gets buried over here, and I've got the grasses and stuff coming up around it. And so they just add a little bit more texture. I like that they're velvet. And so they add a little bit of a shimmer, but not overly shimmery. See, there's another one buried in here. And sometimes you're not even sure that they're there until you look a little closer. And so since this piece is going to be so big, it's an opportunity to use all kinds of components to fill things. So I'll be making a lot of components. Yeah, I'm going to probably work on kind of my stitch plan tonight. And then I will be able to work on some of the pieces, some parts of the pieces, I guess, while I'm here. Oh, thank you, Marion. She said, I love your pieces. Treasure hunting. Yes. Well, that's what I love about my pieces, is that you don't see everything the first time. You have to keep looking to see what else you can find. I know. I wish I could feel through text, said Marion. Yeah. We need touch-o-vision and smell-o-vision for all those good cooks out there, right? Terry said, Dylan has tolerated cats before. He is such a good boy. I make sure to tell him. Hopefully they'll make peace with one another. I mean, Holly's young, so she should hopefully get a handle on it. Yeah, I always tell people, that you need to get close enough so that you can reach out and touch the art, because it really does make a difference in how you can feel it. Velvet is going to feel different than if I had made the balls out of cotton, or sometimes I make them out of satin. Hey, Tanya, how are you doing? Another one of our international viewers, since she's in Scotland. Do you have any luck finding the yarn you were looking for, Tanya? I always think of you when Scottish things come up. So we heard bagpipes the other night and I immediately thought of you. Different things that trigger us, right? Different songs that can take you back to a certain time in your life. I heard one yesterday. It was like, oh, I can remember that playing all the time at my first job. It was on the radio, so popular. Oh, audio issues for you, Tanya. Sorry about that. That's frustrating. Tech needs to work when we want it to work. Michelle said your terrariums are beautiful too, Susan. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, the terrariums and the little wood pieces, I really want to have time to work on those for open studios. But I think once I, kind of have a plan going on the commission, then I can find time to work on the little stuff. Terry said there's enough love for everyone. All will be good. That's good. Well, and you have the right attitude, to mix animals or to take on rescued animals or blending animals of a certain age. All of that stuff takes a certain patience and mindset. If you don't have it, it's not gonna work. The critters are not going to get along. Got it all fixed, said Tanya. Yeah. I had to have hubby do some tech stuff with my computer before we got started because everything had been all taken down and apart and unplugged to have room for the painters. And then, of course, it didn't want to work the way it was supposed to when I plugged everything all in again. Sometimes I think it wants him to have to come in and do something. It's like the dishwasher. If you don't push the top rack in just right to get the right click, you get this annoying beep that tells you, nope, I can't start running yet because you don't have this in right. And I tell you what, some nights I'll do that like 5, 6, 7 times and I just cannot get it right. My husband comes over and pushes it in one time and of course everything's fine. Very frustrating. Yeah, I used to really stress about doing these little guys thinking, oh, every stitch had to be just perfect. And I realized, no, with all the other stuff I put around them, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. All right. Oh, that's good. I'll have enough room for one more, or time for one more. You have gremlins like that? Yeah. Years ago, there was a pickup truck we had that I could drive it out of the driveway and I'd get to the grocery store and it would not start again. I'd have, 2 toddlers in the back seat and side seat and a bunch of groceries and it wouldn't start. And I'd have to call for help every single time. And then of course it was totally fine. Marion says, sometimes it's hard to let go of the perfectionist in your head all the freaking time. All the freaking time. Oh, Tanya, yes. She says, but I can find the ketchup in front of me in the fridge and he can't see it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It all balances out. That's why we need the partnership, right? There are things like that I can find too. And then we just laugh. You have to laugh. He's like, do you want me to, with the dishwasher, he's like, do you want me to do it? I was like, I have to be able to do this. What if you're not here and I need to run the dishwasher? It became very frustrating. It's like, I need to be able to do this on my own. I should be able to start the freaking dishwasher. I had it with the washing machine too. After we had it repaired, I'd press the button and I was pressing it too, like boom, boom, instead of holding it down a little bit. But so I can finally start the washing machine, but it's just silly because stuff like that then it makes you just feel incompetent. It's like, why can't I do this? So yeah, something like this, you don't need to be perfect. Nobody's going to see anything. They're not going to see any of these stitches And yet when you put them together, now just one, oh, wait a minute, let me finish this and then I'll say what I was going to say about it. But perfectionism in art, well, it doesn't exist. Not really. Nobody's perfect unless you're, pulling things off the assembly line. And even then the assembly line has, rejects, but you don't want the perfection. You want the individuality that comes. My little puffs of velvet are not going to look like your little puffs of velvet. They might be close, but they're not going to be identical, or maybe the way you stitch them down. Maybe instead of stitching them down as little circles, maybe you stitch them down, and you don't stuff them as much, and then you stick them in like this, and you get a different kind of effect. I don't have enough time to do one of those, but if you get hung up on doing something perfect, which I have recently been hung up on as far as putting things away in the studio, which is just ridiculous because it's my workspace. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sue said, wait until you get to the stage where you are reaching to pick something up. You touch it over and over again, but for some reason you just can't pick it up. Oh, that's frustrating. Elizabeth said, Marion, the YouTube channel I watch is Seven Plaza. Her name is Margaret, and she's in the Netherlands. Oh, Marion said, I've seen her many times. Neat. Terry said, see, that is frustrating. John is having issues like that. It would be very frustrating. And of course, I'm sure you guys all know this trick where if I cut it here, then I'm going to have this thread hanging out, but I'm pulling it really tight. And when I cut it, then the tail, excuse me, disappears. All right. So not bad for chatting. So what I was going to say is, just one of these is not very exciting on its own. But again, you can do some interesting things. You can, you have contrast. If you're pushing them together, you've got contrast. You can make it like a little hill. Put a row of them together. And so it's having these components together that you can play with. So you could do this and then you can start tucking beads in there, trim, fuzzy stuff. So it's just about having the beginnings of some components. Thank you guys for hanging with me today. Barbara said, hi, Terry and Tanya just disappeared for a phone call. You're back in time to say goodbye. Sandy said, very delightful chat today. I've loved every bit of it. Thank you, Susan, for bringing us together. You are so welcome. Barbara's got Terry's channel up there. Marion said, I enjoy it very much. Happy about the time. Glad to be with you too, said Joanne. Usually it's mostly too late for me. Well, we're glad you were able to join us today, Marion. Hope to see you here again. All right, everybody, have a creative week. Thank you for being with me. See you next week. Bye-bye for now.